Hello, it's Ray Edwards again, founder of the all-new Copywriting Mastery 2020 coaching program and the top-rated copywriting podcast, The Ray Edwards Show. I know, it's humbly named. Welcome to video number 2 of my 4-part video workshop, Writing Words That Sell in the New Economy. In the first video, I shared the secret superpower that allows some businesses to thrive while others struggle to even survive. And what is that secret superpower? It's the ability to communicate the value you bring to the world in such a way that people are lining up to do business with you. That skill is called copywriting. And while many people know about copywriting, very few know how to do it or even why it works so well. In that first video, I showed you the 3 most common mistakes most business owners make in their ads, their websites, their emails, and all their marketing copy. I walked you through an example and showed you how you can start fixing these 3 mistakes in your copy right now and begin seeing the results immediately. So if you have not seen that video, go back and watch it now and then come back to this one. I'm going to assume you did that. In this video, I'm going to teach you my 6-part framework for writing persuasive copy that sells no matter what you're writing. Never has it been more important to communicate with your prospects and customers in a way that demonstrates how much you care. If you want to develop a loyal, excited, trusting tribe of lifetime customers, this is the only way to do it in this brave new economy. And more importantly, this will help you craft every piece of content and advertising in your business. And I'll have more to say about that in a few minutes, so stick with me. So if you're new to copywriting, but you aren't sure if this kind of marketing will work for your business, I assure you it's a good bet this is the only kind of marketing that will. Or if you're an experienced marketer looking to increase your sales not just incrementally but exponentially, you'll discover how business owners like me and you can use the framework to do just that. This is an entirely new way of thinking about copywriting, so you'll want to pay close attention. The fastest, easiest, and most effective way to build a successful business, whether you're just starting out or you've been in business for a while, is to develop clear, persuasive communication. The kind that demonstrates your integrity and expertise to prospects so they'll look at you as safe, trusted, and secure as an investment. Before I explain this simple 6-letter formula for crafting all of your persuasive, empathetic, money-getting communications, let me tell you what this formula did for my friend and student, Dr. Douglas Pugh. When I first met Doug, he was a stressed-out, struggling composer, conductor, and former professor of music, trying and failing to crawl out from under a mountain of debt. All this frustration weighed on him constantly, wrecking his health and his self-esteem. He'd caught the online marketing bug, but was spinning his wheels and not getting the traction he needed to start pulling himself out of this challenging financial situation. As he began using this 6-letter persuasion formula in his music business, his wife's multi-level marketing business, and his e-commerce job he was working at, he saw a huge improvement. His wife's sales quadrupled within 2 months, and they've earned 3 consecutive all-expense-paid international vacations. He launched new programs in his music business that, at their height, converted over 60%. And he began selling over 1,000 units per day in his e-commerce job, 5 times their previous numbers. Now he runs a 6-figure writing practice, charging top dollar to help his clients launch their products and services. Yes, he worked hard, but he was working just as hard before with less to show for it. What made all the difference? It was his increasing effectiveness in communicating with his audience. But here's the problem. There are lots of gurus online with programs and courses and memberships teaching passive income, launches, communication funnels. They all have different frameworks and formulas for success. But which of all these formulas really works? If you've asked yourself this question before, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but you're asking the wrong question. Each of these gurus with their various formulas and frameworks has students with success. They all work. But expecting success in the new economy with frameworks and formulas that worked in the pre-COVID economy could be a recipe for disaster. People have changed. Their point of view about money has changed. Their BS meters, which were already pretty high before the pandemic, have gone off the charts, and they're effective at sniffing out the hype artist, internet marketing guru mongers. Everybody's on high alert, and they're going to stay that way. You must be able to communicate in a way that proves to your prospects and customers they can trust you, in a way that shows your willingness, ability, and tendency to lead with service instead of selling in your business. Nobody wants to be sold. Everybody wants to be served. Your chances of thriving in this new economy are in serious danger. But this 6-letter formula I recommend using for all your content, marketing, and advertising cuts away the sleaze, the hype, and the kind of communication that makes you uncomfortable It sets your prospects' BS meters ringing on high alert. It totally flips the typical selling scenario on its head and sets you up for long-term success. It helps your prospects and customers answer this crucial question: why should they trust you? Why should they spend their money with you? To illustrate, let me tell you about another friend and student of mine, Beth Schmeisel. When Beth first learned the formula, she was a struggling blogger and part-time employee at a video marketing agency. Within a year, she went from being a part-time employee to being their go-to copywriter to becoming the full-time marketing manager. Not long after that, she used her mastery of the 6-letter persuasion formula to write a proposal that blew the owners of Harmon Brothers away. Harmon Brothers is the most successful video ad agency in the nation. They made those commercials you've seen for Squatty Potty, Poopery, etc. And it got her a full-time job as one of their staff copywriters and ad writers. In both scenarios, her writing demonstrated her high level of empathy, care, and service. Qualities these companies rely on for their success. That's the kind of feeling your prospects need. It's often the only way of reaching over their high barrier of skepticism. In this new economy, this much is clear. There has never been a more important time than now to improve your ability to communicate with empathy and integrity. In fact, it's the key to unlocking your future success. Learning, applying, and mastering this 6-letter formula, the PASTOR Copywriting Framework, and using it to craft every single piece of your communication, your marketing, your advertising, even your content, is the key to surviving and thriving in the new economy. All right, let's jump into the PASTOR framework right now.
So this is the methodology for writing copy that sells without being salesy, because none of us want to be confused with this guy. And most of us have an aversion to selling. Why is that? Why are we uncomfortable with selling? Well, I think in part we have our moms to thank. No disrespect to moms, but we were taught, most of us as kids, a couple of contradictory beliefs that cause us to be in tension about selling. One belief we were taught is that you should never talk to fill in the blank. Right, strangers. And then the second thing we were taught is never ask people for money. And yet, as entrepreneurs, business owners, freelance and solo practitioners, we're all in the business of asking strangers for money. And we can get weird when we have to sell something to someone we don't really know all that well, or even if we have to sell something to someone we do know well. This is never better illustrated than in this scene from the classic cinema masterpiece, Tommy Boy.
I gotta do this. It's gotta be the one. I gotta do this. It's gotta be me. It's gotta be.
Are you ready?
Yeah, sorry. I'm ready. Hey, does this suit make me look fat?
No. Your face does. Okay, let's check you out. All right.
It's a clip, huh?
Are you sure? All right, now, it's sale time, so remember, we don't take no...
No from anyone.
No?
We don't take no prisoners.
We don't take no for an answer.
Oh, yeah. We don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
We don't take no for an answer. We don't take no for an answer. No. Okie dokie.
No.
Gotcha, thanks. Terrific. Thanks for your time.
Let me say, maybe.
Well, then, I'd just like to add that the spectrometer readout on the nickel-cadmium alloy mix indicates a good rich strobe and fade, decreasing incidence of wear to the pressure plate. If you could just...
Whoa, little fella, you're not speaking my language.
What my associate is trying to say is that our new brake pads are really cool. You're not even gonna believe it. Like, let's say you're driving along the road with your family, and you're driving along, la-li-la, woo, and then all of a sudden there's a truck tire in the middle of the road, and you hit the brakes. Whoa, that was close. Now let's see what happens when you're driving with the other guy's brake pads. You're driving along, and all of a sudden the kids are yelling from the back seat, I gotta go to the bathroom, Daddy. Not now. Truck tire. I can't stop. Help! There's a cliff. And your family's screaming, oh my God, we're burning alive. No, I can't feel my legs. In comes a meat wagon. Woo, woo, woo. and the medic gets out and says, "Oh my God." New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies. And to me, it doesn't...
Get out. Now.
Do you validate?
Now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can get weird when it comes to selling, unless we remember that selling and marketing are something we do for people, not something we do to people. That's an important point. And this leads me to the 7 persuasion principles that make your products sell. These are 7 simple rules you've probably heard before, but let's review them really quickly before we dive into our framework for writing copy. The 7 persuasion principles are: principle number 1, it's all about them, not about you. You have heard, no doubt, the admonition that in the story you're telling about your product, the story does not include you as the hero. If you think of it as Star Wars, you are Luke Skywalker, right? Wrong. Your customer is Luke Skywalker, the hero of the story. You are Yoda, the guide who comes alongside. Principle number 2, to make it about them, you have to talk about you. What on earth do I mean? I mean, universals are specifics. In other words, if you tell universally relatable stories, people automatically relate those stories to their own lives. Talk about the first car you had, for instance, when you were in school, or your first date, or your first job interview. And even though you're telling your particular story, people connected immediately to their own story of the same nature. That's how you talk about them while seeming to talk about you. Principle number 3, great copy addresses a problem, makes a promise, offers proof, and ends with a proposal. You propose that they invest in your solution. Principle number 4, your copy must be useful and valuable in and of itself. Principle number 5, there is no copy that is too long. There is only copy that is too boring. As an example, the original complete Harry Potter series in this version was 4,101 pages long, and to that, listeners said, "We want more." And they got more. Principle number 6, you must present the reader with a preponderance of proof, not just a little bit of evidence, but a preponderance of proof. And principle number 7, great copy leads the reader to a fork in the road. They have to make a decision. Or to quote Yogi Berra, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. So here's a question that comes up for copywriters very often, and that is, I don't know what to write. What do I write? How do I deal with the blank page? Here's how to beat those blank page blues. Don't start with a blank page. Now, here's what I mean. Jumpstart your copy by collecting swipe files. These are collections of successful ads and sales letters and pieces of copy that have performed and been proven to work in the marketplace that you use for inspiration. Now, notice I said you use them for inspiration, not for plagiarism. You can't steal somebody else's copy word for word. It's unethical, it's immoral, and it's illegal. It'll get you in legal trouble. But you can use it as an inspiring point of beginning, as a way to think about, here I should tell a story. Here I should use this kind of example. Here I should have this sort of cadence. Maybe I take this approach to how I deal with this selling of this particular product or service. You use them as inspiration files. And you begin to collect and stack up copy blocks. The more copy you write for your business or for somebody else's business, if you're doing this freelance to make extra money, the more copy you write, the more you're going to begin to notice there's certain pieces of copy you're writing over and over again, like the guarantee section or the opening section or the bullet points section, how you lead into the frequently asked questions portion of your copy. Start collecting those blocks in your own personal swipe file that you have written. You can use that copy freely. Then you copy, paste, and assemble the copy instead of writing it from scratch every time. If you truly are starting with a blank page, one suggestion I have is start with writing the offer. What you're offering to people, how it's going to transform their lives and make things different. We'll get into that in just a moment. And for heaven's sakes, use an outline, a framework. In fact, I'm going to give you the framework right now that I've used to write my successful copy over the years. And you can use this framework not just to write sales copy. You can use it to write sales pages, but it can also be used, because I use it for these purposes all the time, to write blog posts, emails, podcasts, about pages, profiles in social media, status updates, tweets. Anything you write, any communication you create can use this framework to build a persuasive message. And the framework is the PASTOR framework. Now, you may have heard me talk about this before, but you've never heard me go this in depth, because I've developed this in a deep and sustained way over the years. I have some new distinctions to offer you about the PASTOR framework. I think you're going to find very helpful, even if you've seen me present on this topic before. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is this is not about you becoming a preacher. It has nothing to do with religious beliefs. The PASTOR framework is about the original connotation of the word pastor, which meant to be a shepherd. And what does a shepherd do? The shepherd protects the flock, protects the sheep, makes sure they have food, water, that they're safe from predators, and the shepherd is always acting in the best interest of the flock. If you take that approach, if you come from that heart place as you're thinking about writing your sales copy for your audience, you will never come across as too salesy or pushy, because people will feel that you're coming from a place of looking out for their best interest, of shepherding them to a good decision. You need to stop selling and start shepherding. People can feel it. And as a result, you'll make more sales. Now, the letters in the word pastor each stand for a part of the framework. And I'm going to go through these quickly, because we can go super in depth in this. In fact, I spend a lot of time in our copywriting mastery course diving deep into each one of these. But right now, I'm going to give you the broad overview. The P stands for person, problem, and pain. You must know the person you're writing to. You must know them inside out. You must know the problem you're helping them solve. And you must know the pain they feel and how they perceive it. Now, when I say you need to know the person, I mean you need to know the person deep down. Your perfect customer. Think about the perfect customer for what you offer, whether it's a product that's physical in form, it's a device, it's a nutrition supplement, it's a book, or maybe it's a training course, or it's coaching, or maybe it's a service you perform in the real world, like doing people's hair or lashes. It doesn't matter what you're selling. You need to know the person you're selling it to, and not just their surface appearance, because people are always more than they appear on the surface. They're never what they seem at first. You need to get to know that inside person. And you need to understand the problem, and not just the problem, but the pain in the way that they perceive it. For instance, when I give this talk in person in front of live audiences, I talk about this photo and I ask people, what is this lady experiencing? And I get all kinds of answers. Some people say she has a headache, a migraine, she's upset, she's stressed out, she's afraid of flying, there's a kid behind her kicking her seat. It could be any and or all of these things, but you must know what the person is experiencing. And the reason most copy fails is it's written to the benefit of the marketer, not to the benefit of the customer. And you can quote me on that. The A in PASTOR stands for amplification and aspiration. This is where you're amplifying the consequences of not solving the problem, amplifying the pain. Here's what will happen if you don't take care of this problem. If you don't take care of your health right now, if you don't start eating right, exercising, getting fit, dropping the fat, you could suffer from diabetes, from dementia, from heart disease, from all these horrible outcomes that you could prevent if you take care of this problem now. And then you quickly move from the pain to the pleasure, which is also a form of pain. What do I mean? I mean, you talk about their aspirations, what they hope to achieve, what paradise looks like for them, because what they aspire to, they do not yet have. That is aspirational pain. To sell anything, you must help them feel the pain of not buying, the cost of complacency. And this works for any product in any market. The S in PASTOR stands for story. This is the story of your struggle and your solution, solving the problem your customer is now facing, and also demonstrating the system you use for solving it. so they know you can actually solve it for them as well. The key is telling a great story. Stories are the way we understand the world. And the very best single sentence definition of a story I know comes from my good friend Donald Miller, who wrote the book Building a Story Brand. And Donald says a story is a character with a problem who meets a guide who gives them a plan and calls them to action, which results in success or failure. And of course, we're showing them the road to success with the story we tell. The T in the PASTOR framework stands for testimony. It also stands for transformation. We don't have time to go into that today very in depth, but I will in just a moment. Let me just say about testimony, it's got to be rock solid testimony that stands scrutiny. It has to be not just a little bit of evidence, but a preponderance of proof, as we said before. The offer gets into the transformational vocabulary we use to describe what's happening for our customer when they purchase what we're offering. They're not just purchasing the DVDs, for instance, if we're selling the P90X program, which you may have seen on television or on the internet. And nowadays it's all digital, but in the glory days, as it was becoming world famous and making billions of dollars, the P90X promotion was sold via DVDs. And people don't buy the DVDs or the online videos or access to the app. They buy the transformation. They buy the picture before that looks like them and the picture after that looks like the way they want to look. That's why before and afters are so important. They're powerful. It's the transformation people buy, not the stuff. Of course, each letter to the PASTOR framework, we could spend lots of time going deep into it. I've got many examples and things to show you about that, but that's something we do in our copywriting mastery program. For right now, you know enough to start using the PASTOR framework right now, today, in any copy you may choose to write, and it changes things almost like magic.
Waitress, could I get that shrimp cocktail I saw in the glass case?
Yep. And you, what can I get? What happened to your face?
I knew it. See, Richard. I'll have chicken wings.
Kitchen's closed until dinner. Just got cold stuff and desserts.
Boy, some chicken wings would really hit the spot. You sure it's closed?
Let me check. Yep, it's closed.
Okay. I'll just have a sugar packet or two. Hey, what's your name?
Helen.
That's nice. You look like a Helen. Helen, we're both in sales. Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman. Let's say I go into some guy's office. Let's say he's even remotely interested in buying something. Well, then I get all excited. I'm like, Jojo, the idiot circus boy with a pretty new pet. The pet is my possible sale. Oh, my pretty little pet. I love you. So I stroke it, and I pet it, and I massage it. Yeah, I love it. I love my little naughty pet. You're naughty. And then I take my naughty pet and I go. Oh! I killed it! I killed my sale. That's when I blow it. That's when people like us have got to forge ahead, Helen. Am I right?
God, you're sick. Tell you what, I'll go turn the fryers back on and throw some wings in for you.
Hey, thanks, Helen. Tell me likey. Tell me want wingy.
And that's the magic of a good story, to create a connection with your prospect and help you make the sale. Now, let me just real quickly go through an example of how this would work if you're writing copy for a product that has nothing to do with making money or building a business online. Let's say that you're an artist who wrestles with the battle between the fact you want to just draw and make your art and the fact you need to make some money. So if I were writing copy for a product that taught artists how to sell their artwork online, I might write something like this. I'd start with the person, problem, and pain. And this is an abbreviated version, so keep that in mind. But I might start like this. If you're an artist who wrestles with the battle between your art and your income, and you're almost ready to give up. So I've already dived right into the pain as they experience it. If it feels like you have to sell your soul to make a living, then this message is for you. Now I get into amplifying the pain. Ignoring this problem won't make it go away. It will only make it worse. Some will even give up their art and get a job. Terrible. Here's the story, solution, and system. I struggled as a sketch artist for years, and I know how you feel, but I found a way out, and I can show you how you can do the same. Testimony? Just look at these examples of others I have helped. They make their art and they get paid to do it. And this is where you would put in examples from other people who've done just that. Then you get right to the offer. This is what I teach in the new book, Starving Artists No More. This book is your blueprint to go from food stamps to six figures as an artist. And then I ask for the response. Click below, fill in your credit card information, and you'll be downloading your book in the next 2 minutes or less. And this is a very short, crude example of how I build a quick sales message using the PASTOR framework about a kind of offbeat subject, but this actually works. I know several artists who are doing this kind of thing, and they're making six figures as a result. And it's all thanks to, whether they're conscious of it or not, the PASTOR framework. Remember, this is the solution to your selling and profit problems. PASTOR. PASTOR. That's the framework that can work magic for you.
Okay, let's do a quick review of what we covered today. First, we saw a whole new way to think about how to use PASTOR. Use what you learned here today to immediately boost your sales right now. Plus, you found out how to understand your avatar or perfect customer so you know how to speak their language. It's been a jam-packed video, so make sure you review your notes and put this into action right away. Tell me, what will your life look like a year from now once you've applied all of this? Knowing how to write for your reader instead of at them absolutely helps you craft every piece of content and advertising in your business. What will that look like for you, your business, and your life? Get clear about the impact it'll have on your life, the lives of your family, those around you, and your customers. So let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, please share it on Facebook, Twitter, or just share the link with a friend. In the next video, I'm going to show you the entire blueprint so you can integrate copywriting into all your communication and content, creating strategic influence. It builds on everything we talked about today, and most importantly, it outlines everything from how to use your copy everywhere to creating powerful marketplace influence that seems like magic, but it's really service. I believe this is the most valuable training in the whole workshop. You'll walk away with so much more clarity about how everything fits together. I'm even including a PDF download of the entire blueprint, so you can print that out and use it as a roadmap to integrate copywriting into all your communication and content, creating that strategic influence. The next video is about equipping you for long-term success and giving you the big picture strategy for making the progress you're after. But for now, I'll leave you with this. Just by using what we covered today, you're one step closer to your ultimate goal. You want to make more sales with less work and less worry. And you and I both know it's so much more than just that, because it means you'll have less stress and more time to spend with the people you love. And that's what really matters. So take what you've learned today and start putting it into practice. Maybe you're just in the beginning stages, or maybe you can apply it right now. The key thing is to get moving. You'll want to take these small steps which will get you where you want to be. Next up, I'll share the blueprint which will help you make more sales with less work and less worry. I'm excited just knowing what a difference it's going to make in your life. I can't wait to see you in the next video.